Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Luna 2.0, what has happened to it recently, and where I predict the price to go to, as well as some key price levels and some trades I'm looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. So let's get right into it. So annotations back up from yesterday, and we see that we have been in this channel now. So this purple channel is this bullish channel, and originally I was a bit worried yesterday because we had that inflation report data come out. So of course, if you were here yesterday and you were watching that inflation data come out, it was definitely a nerving day. But if you did manage to catch the bottom down here and trade it all the way back up, then congratulations. Basically, what we did see is right after that inflation data came out, we saw this rally. I think the whole market saw a rally that basically completely retraced all the previous price action that came before it. So basically what we see here is almost a double peak. We came back down and came straight back up. And if we have a look at something like Bitcoin, for example, exactly the same. You can see the price did go down, and then during that inflation, it got to about 18,100, 18,200. And then all of a sudden, throughout the hours that followed, we basically went up to 20,000 there on Bitcoin. So, it was quite remarkable. And for Luna 2.0, that's really good because that's put us back in this bullish channel that we want to be in, instead of following this bearish channel, this blue line down here. So that's really good. That's really good to see. And, I'm just generally bullish here on Luna 2.0. Of course, the first thing that I notice in terms of tradable patterns that are coming up is something that looks kind of like this. Now, guys, this is not perfect. So just do bear that in mind. These chart patterns are never 100% perfect. It's all about forward forecasting. And so the best thing that I'm seeing right now is a triangle that could look like this. Now this triangle is not just any ordinary triangle. This is quite an exciting one because, of course, on this channel, we talk about triangles quite a lot, and we like triangles because, it's got a clearly defined price target. The price target is always the first test of the support and the first test of the resistance. And if you follow this policy, it generally tends to work out well. Like I say, it's never going to be 100% perfect, but if we follow this rule, then it's going to generally lead to good results. So in this case, the first test of the support, as you can see, would be around this region down here. And the first test of the resistance will be this region up here. And what results is this difference here that is around a 25% difference. So what we can do is we drag it to anywhere where we think the price could break out. So let's say the price action continued to do something like this, for example, and then we see a point where the price breaks through this triangle and starts to do this. Then we move this ruler here to where the price breaks out, and then that will be our price target. And if we look at the upwards price target, if we just drag this down, that is around $3.31 here on Luna 2.0. That's a massive, massive price target. That's about the size of this pump that we saw here from just a few days ago. So that is a very big price implication. And of course, if you do manage to trade this, for example, when the price goes up, you want to be taking profits at some key levels like resistances where we might see the price consolidating. So for example, if you can imagine this purple line, for example, and a trader's mentality, and they've got the ability to place automatic buys and sells at certain price levels. Imagine being a trader like myself, and of course they're drawing the lines like this. For example, they've got their resistance set up, and they're like, okay, every time the price comes up to a resistance, it's come back down quite fast. So we're going to do an automatic sell order if the price touches the resistance. Of course, when the price will get to a certain resistance, for example, then there's going to be some selling pressure from traders, and that's why we look so deeply for resistances on the way up. So with this 22% pump here, we want to look for key resistances that other traders might be looking for to short Luna 2.0. And of course, there are going to be areas where we want to be taking certain amounts of profits along the way. So basically, the implication, the ultimate price target is $3.31. And I will talk about the price levels that we'll be taking profits at the moment in a second, but I just want to show you what the downside implication is. So, if the price does something, the opposite basically, and breaks below this point here. So if the price does this, consolidates and then just comes down like this, then the price target down on the bottom side would be $1.97. Now look at how low that is compared to the price on Luna 2.0 here. Basically, that's the lowest it's been since before September. Not even this section here hit this $1.97 mark. So, this price target would be the lowest it's been since pre-September. So that is an ambitious price target either way. So this is why we want to take profits along the way, because, we're never going to get there in one straight line. We could do, there is a chance of it, but the chances are that we won't do something like this. We'll probably go in a journey like this. And of course, this is where a lot of other people fail, because they're expecting one straight line, and that's realistically most of the time that does not happen. So for the upside, price targets that I'm personally looking at lie on these Fibonacci levels mostly. Basically, price targets on the upside. So if we break out from this triangle here, then the first small take profit that I'll have is this line here, the $2.80 mark, a classic resistance here on Luna 2.0, and it's a level that I've been watching now for a while. So that would be a big take profit area for me once the price touches this fib. And we could do something like this, for example, if it's well respected. And of course, that's where I'll take the first part of my profits. The second part will be this next fib, this $2.92 fib here on Luna 2.0. And then, of course, the next take profit level will be this purple resistance here. So when I say take profit, I'm saying, you take like 20% of your position out and take the profit out of that and leave 80% of it in. And you do that every time you reach these levels. And eventually, this $3.15 level will be another take profit. And then, of course, if we can go above that, then $3.31 will be the final price target. But as I say, these levels are levels that I'm taking profits at. And the same for the downside. If we do break below this triangle here, then I'll be looking to take profits at the $2.40 mark, I'll be looking to take profits where this line is intersected, this blue line here, which is a long-term support and resistance here on Luna 2.0. So I'll be taking profits once the price touches this, and I'll be taking profits once the price touches $2.20. And if the price continues to fall below that, then I'll be leaving the rest of my position in until we reach that $1.97 mark. So that's basically how I treat these Fibonacci levels. That's basically how I look at it when we break out of a triangle of this magnitude. Of course, if it's a smaller triangle with, say, less than a 5% pump or so, then I tend to leave my whole position in until we've reached that mark. But if it's a massive triangle like this, then we want to be taking profits at those key resistance levels. Now, of course, so at the moment, this is the main price pattern that I'm seeing here on Luna 2.0. This is the one that gets me excited. This is either bullish or bearish. There's no indication here as to whether we break up on the upside or the downside, but there could be a large price action if this triangle is followed. Of course, we can measure how long it will take as well for this triangle to complete. So we should get a decision made by the very, very latest 1 hour and 1 day and 6 hours. So that's the amount of time that Luna 2.0 can make a decision before the triangle runs out. So this is pretty short-term stuff as well. It should happen within the next day or so. And of course, I'm also looking at USTC because just before I go, I want to show you how correlated these two are. So if I find USTC and put that on a new price scale here on Luna 2.0, you can see that the correlation is very uncanny. Look at this. The price action is very similar in both coins. So USTC and Luna 2.0 have very similar price action. You see this dip here that both coins have. Every single peak seems to correlate, and then all of a sudden in recent time the correlation has turned negative. So the price actions here were fairly correlated, and all of a sudden as Luna 2.0 comes down, USTC goes up, and when USTC goes down, Luna 2.0 has come up. So there seems to be some sort of inverse relationship. But looking at USTC, we can see that there's also a triangle formation happening here. So this kind of supports the fact that there could be a triangle on Luna 2.0 as well, because since they're either negatively correlated or very well correlated, USTC has that triangle as well. And therefore, I'm watching what USTC does, because if this negative correlation keeps up, then of course, if USTC breaks to the upside or the downside, then Luna 2.0 could do the opposite as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in that regard. But yeah, just keeping my eye on that as well, because there is a strong correlation. Of course, I'm seeing if we can respect this bullish channel, and there is always a chance that, this triangle is not respected and we consolidate further, and, would have to readjust this triangle to better fit the new price data that we have. So something more shallow like this, for example. So that's also something that could be a possibility as well. So of course, indeed, just monitoring if there's any price movement, if there's an increase in volume at any time, an increase in momentum followed by a breakout, then that's when we've got this triangle on our hands. Otherwise, we could follow a different course instead. So just be aware of that. And of course, that is all I have to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.